This is the Domestic Mompreneur podcast. Inspiration and encouragement for moms who manage their homes and businesses. I'm your host, Paula Ray. I know what you're thinking. Sis, did you really just bring us back to the 1950s? Are we really going back that far? Hear me out. This is Paula Ray, and I'm going to really explain the concept behind the domestic mompreneur. Let's go back to the 1950s for just a moment. Travel back in time with me. Are you there? Are you picturing Lucy? Because that's who I'm picturing. Nice, beautiful dress, cute kitten heels. She's fluffing pillows on the couch. You know, this is a time period where doing the domestic things, the domestic duties, would not have been odd, right? Getting breakfast before husband went to work, taking care of the children, those sort of things were accepted and the norm in this country during that time period. But now let's move forward a little bit. Now more and more women actually have to go to work out of necessity in order to maintain and keep up with the needs of the home. As that started to happen and the numbers started to increase with more women going into the work field, they had to make a decision to sort of leave the domestic duties part-time in order to work full-time. As time went on, this became more widely accepted, so much so that now the domestic duties or the duties of so-called stay-at-home mom was sort of looked down on. And then came in the debate, stay-at-home moms versus working moms. But now in 2019, it really does not have to be either or. With so many opportunities to work from home and work for ourselves, we as women, as moms, can do both. It reminds me of the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31. She took care of her household and didn't eat from the bread of idleness. She stretched her hand to the needy, but she also considered a field and bought it and planted a vineyard. This shows that not only were the home duties important and taken care of, but that she was also very resourceful in making business decisions as well. But those business decisions did not take her away from the home duties. Now, there are many great books and podcasts of so many great women in business who provide so much value and information on showing up in the business space. But this podcast is for the moms whose objective is to work for their family and not necessarily away from it. I chose my business opportunity so that I can afford more time with my family. If my husband isn't working 60 hours a week, that's more time for us to vacation. If I am afforded the tools that I need to homeschool my children and to be more efficient at that, it frees up more time for us to spend quality time in our day. So that's what I mean by moms whose objectives are to work for the family and not necessarily away from it. After starting my own business over a year ago, I've had the opportunity to be exposed to many mompreneurs, whether face-to-face or through social media, books, podcasts. And many of them will share their goals and aspirations to build their businesses, and a lot of them share those goals and aspirations to build those businesses by any means necessary. But I am pretty unapologetic about putting my family's needs first and building my business in the time that I have allotted for it. I've been married for 14 years, have been a stay-at-home mom for most of that time, with the exception of a few years after the recession in 2008. I have 4 children, ages 5, 12, 13 and 14, and I have homeschooled them for the past 5 years. That has been a life that I've been really content with. And when I decided to start the business a little over a year ago, the most important boundary that I set up for myself was that this business had to add value to my family and not take away from it. I realized after starting that journey that I couldn't find a book or a blog or a podcast that identified with those same values. I needed encouragement for the times when I questioned my abilities. I needed inspiration on how to balance the business and the babies. I needed practical advice on productivity and time management. Since my family comes first, I'm not willing to spend 18 hours a day on business. I need to make the best use of the time that I have allotted for it. And I wondered if there were any other moms out there just like me. So I decided to create this podcast to cater to those of you who are in the same boat or in similar positions in your lives. Whether you're new to business or a seasoned vet, whether you're a mom or a wife who's decided to put your home first, this podcast is for you. Thank you for listening to the channel trailer for the Domestic Mompreneur podcast. For those of you who are sticking around and joining the community, welcome. I am so glad to have you here. Be sure to follow along on Facebook at the Domestic Mompreneur podcast. I'm excited to announce that more episodes will be released next week. Go ahead and subscribe right now so you won't miss out on the fun. See you then.